Rethinking a Netwall Games Unit for Grade 6 by Kyle Duguay. So, what are netwall games? Netwall games are games made up of teams or individual players who score by hitting an object into a court space with sufficient accuracy and power that opponents cannot hit it back before it bounces once or twice. Some examples of net and wall games include badminton, tennis, table tennis, pickleball, volleyball, racquetball, squash, and handball. Many of the aforementioned games can transition into professional careers. For others, they become popular lifelong recreational activities. For those going down the recreational path, these games are used as an outlet, whether that outlet is for pure enjoyment, a check off the bucket list, or a stress reliever. It is important to have an idea of gameplay, strategies, and skills necessary to compete or participate in these games. Benefits of netwall games through teaching games for understanding. Netwall games provide the individual with a plethora of transferable concepts. These transferable concepts are as follows: spatial awareness, court positioning, locomotor skills, manipulative skills, agility, problem solving, and decision making. What to expect during the netwall games unit. During this 12-week unit, students will participate in 3 sports: badminton, tennis, and volleyball. Students will be tasked with solving a variety of tactical problems throughout the live gameplay and specific drills used to practice and develop specific solutions to those big problems. Now, here are some specific outcomes for this 12-week netwall unit. The overarching goal. As a result of this unit, 6th grade students will be able to develop and utilize the knowledge, attitude, and skills gained to effectively participate in and contribute to a variety of netwall games. First, badminton. As a result of gameplay and game-like scenarios, students participating in badminton will be able to create space, win the point, and defend their own side. Next, we'll take a look at tennis. As a result of gameplay and game-like scenarios, students participating in tennis will be able to create space, attack as a pair, and defend as a pair. And finally, let's take a look at volleyball. As a result of gameplay and game-like scenarios, students participating in volleyball will be able to set up an attack, win the point, and attack as a team. 12-lesson block plan for a netwall games unit. This 12-lesson block plan will be carried out as follows: badminton, week 1. Day 1, creating space. Day 2, winning the point. Day 3, defending space on their own side. And Day 4, a modified 1v1 tournament. Week 2 consists of tennis. Day 5, creating space. Day 6, attacking as a pair. Day 7, defending as a pair. And Day 8, a modified 2v2 tournament. And finally, volleyball, week 3. Day 9, setting up the attack. Day 10, winning the point. Day 11, attacking as a team. And Day 12, a modified 3v3 tournament. Let's take a look at badminton. Lesson 1 deals with creating space. The students will create space by keeping the shuttle in play, pushing the opponent back by performing the overhead clear, and by using a drop shot. All of these components will allow the students to maintain a rally, but more importantly, create opportunities to score a point by altering their shots to create space close to and/or away from the net. Lesson 2 is centered around winning the point. We are going to be doing this by using the smash, attacking the short serve, and attacking with the drop shot. The smash is a very hard and fast shot. If you're using the smash and the opponent is not ready, it will make it a lot more difficult for them to return the shuttle. Attacking the short serve is a quick and effective way of getting the shuttle back to the other side, leaving the opponent unprepared to return the serve. And attacking with the drop shot is effective by creating space using the overhead clear. After using the overhead clear, you put yourself in a better position of hitting the shuttle closer to the other side of the net. Lesson 3 deals with defending space on your own side. We're going to be defending space on our own side by getting to the recovery position, returning the smash, and returning the drop shot. The recovery position, also known as the base position, is the position we want to find ourselves, as it allows us to move in any direction the shuttle goes in an efficient and quick way. The most effective way of returning the smash is by performing the block shot or a drop shot. And to effectively return a drop shot, try using an underarm clear or get it high enough so that way you can get to the recovery position quicker, and that way you'll be prepared for any other type of return. Finally, the culminating 1v1 tournament, where students will demonstrate the knowledge, attitude, and skills learned from the previous 3 lessons. Next in our net wall game progression, we have tennis. For the first lesson in tennis, we're going to be working on creating space. We're going to be doing this by performing ground strokes, forcing the opponent back, and then using a variety of ground strokes in a given game. Students will have ample opportunity to create space using a variety of ground strokes. They'll perform these ground strokes in a rally-like game. As the students become more comfortable with their ground strokes, we'll work on forcing the opponent back using a variety of those ground strokes. And finally, we'll use a combination in a single game, forehand, backhand, lob shot, drop shot, to create that space. Lesson 2 involves attacking as a pair. We will do this by setting up an up and back formation, using a side-to-side formation, and then setting up a winning volley. In addition to these 3 tactical problems, each pairing will have to work on their communication. Communication is an important component when working with another person. By utilizing an up and back formation, students will be able to practice their ground strokes and their net volleying skills. Learning how to use a side-to-side formation will make added pressure to their opponents. This will allow them to create more consistent volleying and potentially more consistent smashes onto the opponent's side. And finally, setting up a winning volley will get the students to recognize how they'll be able to control a game. Lesson 2 in tennis involved offense as a pair. Lesson 3 will concentrate on defense as a pair. We're going to defend as a pair by using serve and receive tactics. These are returning to feet of advancing player, passing to the net or lobbing to the net, or using a cross-court shot. Returning a ball to the feet of the advancing player makes it difficult for them to get set up for a solid return shot of their own, and also avoids the chances of a smash. Passing or lobbing the ball to the net player may increase your opportunity for an unforced error, as they may not be prepared to return your shot. And utilizing a cross-court shot will force your opponents back to the baseline, increasing their chances of a longer distance shot, which could also force another unforced error. Finally, the culminating 2v2 tournament, where the students will demonstrate the knowledge and the skills that they learned from the previous 3 lessons. Our final sport of the Netwall Games unit is volleyball. Lesson 1 in volleyball involves setting up the attack. We're going to do this by getting to our base positions, containing the ball, and reading and anticipate the play. Our base position is the readiness of our bodies and the area in which we play. Our bodies need to be ready, be on the balls of our feet, chest up, knees bent, that way we can move in any direction the ball is going. The base position will also help us contain the ball. We want to be able to contain the ball so that way we can set up a more purposeful shot as it goes over the net. By effectively reading and anticipating the play, you'll be able to set yourselves in a better base position, where you'll be able to get yourselves to the ball in order to make a more playable ball to your teammates, in order to contain that ball and get a more purposeful shot again to the other side of the net. In Lesson 2, we'll take a look at winning the point. Here we'll concentrate on executing a down ball, transitioning to attack, and using the set to attack. The purpose of executing a down ball or spike is twofold. A, it's motivational. Students will be able to hit the ball as hard as they can to the other side, and B, you'll learn how to hit a hard ball that is difficult to return. When we focus on transitioning to the attack, we want to be able to make a successful pass to the hitter. The hitter, of course, is going to be hitting a ball to the other side of the net in a spot, hopefully, where the opponent is not, or making a difficult ball for them to return. Once the students are able to transition to the attack, we're going to use the set in order to make a more controlled and calculated attack on the opponent. Lesson 3 will focus on attacking as a team. Students will attack as a team by effectively receiving a serve and transitioning to attack. Students will be able to effectively receive the serve by remaining in their base position, reading where the ball is going, and organizing or arranging their hands in a way to perform the forehand pass or the overhead set. From the serve received, the students will learn to transition immediately to attack by receiving, setting, hitting, supporting teammates, and of course communicating. Finally, Lesson 4, the culminating 3v3 tournament where students will demonstrate the knowledge, attitude, and skills learned from the previous 3 lessons. Scaffolding. The lessons and subunits will be organized in the following way. First, we want to figure out the foundational knowledge. What do the students already know? This will help guide the lesson. This will help guide the rest of the units. That way we're not going over things they already know. Next, they'll be placed into a game-like situation. Here we will introduce the tactical problem and observe to form questions. Next, we will use questions to figure out solutions to the problem. For example, when you were in this situation, what did you do? Would you do it differently? How would you go about it next time? From there, we'll perform a drill or a practice task. This is where we use the solutions in a closed-loop activity. From here, we will use more questions and discuss the solutions that were effective and the ones that weren't as effective. In the culminating game, we will put it all together in an open-looped environment. From there, we will look for teachable moments. Of course, if students are not progressing, it's always a good idea to go back to a practice task. Now that the unit has been set up, we need to talk about how we're going to assess the students. We can assess the students in a variety of ways. First, we could possibly give them a written test. It doesn't have to be a long one, but it can be used to assess the knowledge of the students. For a net wall, they could be asked to explain the best ways to create space during a game of badminton. Teachers and students should also be involved in a question-answer session. These are typically used as formative assessments by the teacher to determine the extent of student understanding. A Game Performance Assessment Instrument, or GPAI, can be used as a teacher or student assessment tool, where, for example, you may be looking for the amount of times a student returned to the base or recovery position in volleyball. Teachers may also monitor and observe gameplay. This enables teachers to decide which students or groups can best demonstrate tasks and also to determine whether the content is pitched at a developmentally appropriate level. Next, a rubric or a checklist could be used by teachers for formative or summative assessments or by students as formative or peer assessments. An app such as Dartfish Easy Tagger could be used to track the unsuccessful and successful attempts at a drop shot during a game of badminton. Finally, students could self-report with an exit slip or a journal. These are appropriate forms of assessment, particularly in the affective domain. Students can record their thoughts, motivations, and level of understanding during each lesson and outcome. Google Classroom is a great way for students to journal using technology.